Hi, it's Marla. Welcome back to Twinstrology. This is my message for the Scorpio Full Moon and Beltane, and they're only happening a couple days apart. So we're just going to consider them to be one energy. So if you guys remember the video that I did about the rebirth of the masculine, it started with the Taurus full moon, and that was when the sun was in Scorpio and the moon was in Taurus. This was back in November. And that video covered the first half of the sun's journey. So the sun was here where the moon is now, and we saw the sun travel. Now it's gone halfway around the zodiac. And now the sun is in the opposite sign of Taurus, and this was where we left off. The video started, the masculine rebirth video, I should say, the rebirth of the masculine. It started around Samhain, which is Halloween, and that at that point, back in October, November, the masculine was in the underworld. Now remember, the sun represents the divine masculine energy. And so the sun was in Scorpio, and Scorpio represents the underworld. And as I said, we watched the sun travel around. The sun, when it hit Capricorn, that was when the divine masculine energy was actually reborn. And when the sun was in Aquarius, that was when we had the eclipse season. We did a lot of growth work then, back in January. And then we had the sun move over the Aries point, the point of manifestation. And now here's the sun in Taurus. And I feel like this is the masculine energy is now being fully grounded. The masculine energy is looking at what they value here in the sign of Taurus, because it's what Taurus represent, our values and our material wealth, our finances, and just what we value in general. The big thing about this full moon that we have now in Scorpio is, again, the sun and the moon are going to be making a cross with the north and south node. This was the same back in November when the sun and the moon were flipped. But now this cross is even tighter than it was before. You can see the sun is here at 9 degrees. The moon is at 9 degrees of Scorpio. The north node is at 10 Leo and the south node at 10 Aquarius. And so when we have this cross energy, it's tension, right? These are squaring each other and opposing each other. And I feel like the energy coming in is asking all of us to make a choice. Now, I've been talking a lot about the divine masculine, but remember, we are all divine masculines. We all have divine masculine energy within us. Normally, we think about the divine masculine as being, a lot of times it's the male, not always. It's not related to gender, but more often than not, those of you viewing this video tend to hold a feminine energy, and you think of the masculine as being the external masculine, your twin. And yes, they are that, but we also have our own feminine and masculine. So whatever's going on with your masculine right now, know that the masculine energy is being reborn within you as well. And this is how you're growing. Now, the sun, as I said, represents the divine masculine, and the sun represents our identity and our self-expression. And so as the masculine energy is growing within all of us, we're becoming more able to express ourselves. We're not holding back. We're becoming more authentic. And a key player here, well, not so much a key player, but we have to keep in mind that here is Uranus at 29 degrees of Aries, and very soon Uranus is going to move into Taurus. And Uranus has been in Aries for several years now. And while he was doing that, he was helping us become more authentic. He was helping us find our true identity. And now I feel this full moon, which is going to be the last full moon, I believe, before Uranus moves into Taurus. It's asking us to make a release. And a big part of that release is going to be around who you are, what you're here for, and how you're going to express yourself. The sun, which represents just that, our identity, our expression, and the moon, which represents our emotions and our subconscious, are squaring the nodes. This is our fate. This is our karma. This is our path. So how are we going to make an adjustment within ourselves? What do we need to let go of, and what do we need to expand in order to release the past and move towards that which is our destiny? So here with this square, it's like make a choice now. What are you going to do? Are you going to fall back into your old patterns, or are you going to move forward into the new beginning? But Uranus is there, kind of reminding us about all the lessons we've had. And we're ready now. This is actually not exactly the last, because Uranus will go retrograde and move back into Aries later on. So you will get another chance if you need to. But I feel like many of you, you've learned the lesson and you're ready to speak your truth. And the rising of the masculine within us is what is empowering us to feel strong and protected enough to be our authentic selves. We have Chiron here on the Aries point still, and I talked about how Chiron in Aries is going to also help us become more authentic in my Chiron video. So we are getting a lot of support from the universe. And so we have to remember that the South Node, this is our past life karma, and this is what we know. This is what we've been doing. This is our patterns that we've been doing over and over again. And so it's very tempting a lot of times to fall back when we get to this crossroad, to fall back into the old ways because it's what we know. In order to move towards the North Node, we have to challenge ourselves. We have to grow. We have to do things that we've never experienced before, that aren't comfortable for us, that maybe we're afraid of. And so there is a leap of faith being asked of us right now. When I was tuning in to the energy, this was the image that I was shown. This, of course, is the World card from the Tarot. This is the last of the major arcana. And this card has the 4 fixed signs on it. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And that is a fixed cross that we're having with this full moon and the north and south node. And this card, the world, represents a completion, an ending, a culmination. And so something that we've been working on is now completed. There's a phase of this is done. Now, there'll be a new phase because we're never stopping growing or learning. But this is good news that we're ready to move on to something else. We've mastered something, and there's a shift now. There's a shift happening within the energy that is opening up new doors and new opportunities. And what happens when we get to the world? Remember, this is the last of the major arcana. This is where, we've attained the world. But then the universe opens new doors for us and we start the journey over again. We become the Fool once again. And we're asked to take that leap of faith into the unknown. And so for many of us, this is that shift that's occurring. Yes, we've mastered this. Now let's push ourselves more. Let's push ourselves more towards our north node. Challenge ourselves towards our mission. Do something out of our comfort zone. And I know that many of you have been working on manifesting things, and this card is telling us that those things are coming to pass, and what you've been wanting will start appearing. But again, you're going to have to take a leap of faith, because things may not come as you expect them to come, because every opportunity for us on this path of ascension is an opportunity to grow and to expand. And we only grow and expand by taking risks and by doing new things. So now we have the moon in Scorpio. The moon is in the underworld. The moon represents the feminine energy. And indeed, the feminine energy, especially at this time, is releasing something. Remember, we all have the feminine energy in us as well. There's a definite ending happening for the feminine. And I'm being shown that things are going to begin moving much more quickly for the divine feminine. And the masculine and feminine energies are still growing. It's not just been the masculine, the feminine too, because the more empowered we become through our masculine, the more it enables our feminine energy to expand. And those which we call, our masculine twins, they are also getting their feminine energies expanded, and they are becoming much stronger in their intuitive abilities, and they're getting more comfortable with their intuition and guidance. I feel for those masculines or those twins that we say embody the masculines, you are coming up against a lot of your old patterns right now. Things that need to be seen. The moon in Scorpio is illuminating the shadow work. And the feminine being in the underworld, it's bringing things up. Things are coming up through the moon into our awareness to be let go of. So the masculine is moving away from a lot of their old patterns as well. And it's enabling the masculine to open their heart more. The masculine energy is our protective energy within all of us. It makes us feel safe and secure. And if our masculine is lacking in some way, it's hard to open our hearts because we feel too vulnerable and it's scary. But when our masculine grows, it allows our feminine free reign, I should say, to be in our heart space and to be love and allow ourselves to be soft and vulnerable, to let our defenses down. Now, the sun is going to continue its journey, of course, after this. And the sun will now be moving back to where we started. And the journey that I talked about of the masculine in that video was really the journey of the sun, and it is the annual cycle. But the pagan gods has a cycle of nature that God lives that cycle through the sun year after year. And of course, the sun's going to continue to travel till we get down into Leo and Cancer. And we're going to be going through another set of eclipses. I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get a continuation of the message, so we see what is coming up ahead in the next 6 months. But I've been doing a lot of my own work. That's why, again, I'm still not around much. I've been going through a lot of upgrades right now, and just taking it easy on myself. So the Sabian symbol for the moon here in Scorpio is a fellowship supper reunites old comrades. I love this one because it talks about reunion. And, any past life connection, of course, or anyone from this lifetime even. Any kind of bond, can be renewed right now. But obviously, when I saw this, I thought, reunions. And we're going to talk more about union in a minute when we talk deeper about Beltane. But it feels like the possibility of someone coming back from the past, especially as the moon is so tightly square the south node. The sun is on the Sabian symbol, a Red Cross nurse with warm sympathy. And this one has to do a lot with compassion and help. What's coming through is that we're being very protected at this time. And the Sabian symbol for the north node is similar to that as well. And it's a children on a swing in the safety of a huge oak tree. So those two Sabians and some of the energy that I'm feeling, it's just a message coming through that you are protected and you are loved, and not to worry, not to stress about anything that's going on in your life, that everything is happening for a reason. The North Node is on that one about the oak tree too, and I'm feeling right now there's such a strong connection to nature. The Beltane ritual is about the fertility of the earth. It's springtime in the northern hemisphere. And I'm also getting a message to get into nature if you can, and also work with natural elements. Okay, so for some of you, this is going to be crystals, but it could be other things. It can be flowers. I'm getting salt too. So salt might be something that you want to work with, either through salt crystals or salt baths. If you can get near water, be near water, but work with nature and work with the elements at this time. The South Node too is on one about the past. During a silent hour, a man receives a new inspiration which may change his life. Oh, sorry, it's not about the past, but it's about new beginnings. A man receives new inspiration that may change his life. So we could be tapping into past lives or experiencing downloads or just getting guidance as far as our next step is, receiving some sort of inspiration. We also have the rulers of Scorpio, Pluto and Mars, conjunct each other. And so this is really empowering the masculine energy right now as well. So the goddess card for the energy of this new moon is Kali, endings and beginnings. The old must be released so that the new can enter. So this is confirmation about what I was saying, how there's a cycle ending and a new cycle starting. This is a pretty major shift that's happening right now. And with the Scorpio energy, we're going through a metaphorical death and rebirth. We've been getting lots of upgrades physically as well. And I'm kind of feeling like our old bodies are dying away as we go through these changes. So again, whatever wants to go, let it go. Because any changes, no matter what they appear on the surface, are going to be positive. So here's the chart for Beltane, which is on May 1st. So May is a 5-month, 5 represents change. So I feel that the month of May, there will be a lot of changes. And I've been getting those messages and readings as well. So the date of Beltane will be 5/1/11. If we add up the numbers, if we add them all together, it comes out to an 8. So I feel like the 5/1/11 is representing that change and the new beginning. If we look at the 8, that is karmic. So I feel it's representing a karmic release. So Beltane is the date that we celebrate the sacred union of the god and the goddess. This is where the god has been reborn and he's been growing and growing stronger And now at this time of the year, he is full grown and strong and empowered and ready to take a bride. And this represents, of course, the fertility of the coming springtime. And there's many names that the god goes by depending on what branch of paganism one is interested in or practices. Commonly, this is Cernunnos, or also Pan or Frey, and it's a fertility rite. It's the sacred union. It's the merging of the masculine and feminine. And Beltane, as I mentioned when I did the last video, is when more of us are going to reach union or inner balance. You know, we have to have that inner union first. That's when our divine feminine and masculine are in a state of balance. This is when we are at our most empowered self and our most authentic self. And being authentic and empowered is something that we need in order to come into our highest state of union with our physical twin in the 3D. But for many people, this is going to be reunion in the physical. Many twins have already started to come together, and of course, the process is going to continue. Everyone's on a little bit of a different time frame, but I'm feeling that major shifts around 3D physical unions are going to start happening. Many of the masculines will be, making some decisions, and many of the feminines too need to make some decisions right now about the direction in life. Things aren't really, they haven't been clear. It's been getting clear. Like, we've been seeing bits of things we're going to move forward on, but I feel that it feels like in a zone where the past is gone. Like, there's no going back to the past. Whatever happened in the past is done, and the future is not fully clear. And that full moon in Scorpio is pretty much a physical representation of that. Like, we're halfway between the South Node, which is the past, and the North Node, which is our future. But I think many people can't fully see the future or how the future is going to manifest. So you're really being asked to trust and to have faith and to focus on your vision and know that it's going to come to you. You just have to be patient. We don't know how or when it's going to happen. And so we've got to let go of that attachment, which is the Scorpio energy. So when we become more balanced within, though, we manifest so much faster. We get so much stronger on a spiritual level. And we need to be aware of our strength and the strength that our words have and the strength that our thoughts have, and continue to be very mindful of those things and doing our best to stay positive. Choosing to move past the old fears, the South Node, and take that leap of faith into the unknown. So it really is an exciting time. You can see that asteroid Union is conjunct the Sun, and asteroid Union is also squaring the nodes. When we started this journey, when the Sun was in Scorpio, the asteroid Union was conjunct the South node. And now he's made it a quarter of the way around the zodiac, and now he's squaring the nodes. And so I feel as Union moves towards the North node now, we're going to start feeling this new beginning energy coming in more powerfully. We also have Mercury on the 13th degree of Aries, which I've talked about several times. That's the degree of sacred union. A snake coiling near a man and a woman is the Sabian, and it represents the Kundalini energy that is awakened, but this is what comes forth through sacred union, and this is where we manifest from. So that's another important sign that we're getting. And Venus and the North Node are making a yod with Saturn, or a finger of God. And so I feel that this is us grounding new energy around love, harmony, balance, and abundance in general, which are all aspects of Venus and our new path. And Saturn is bringing this in for us. And Saturn was aspecting the Sun and the Moon as well. Nothing materializes in the 3D without the assistance of Saturn. So his input's really important. Okay, I think that's it. As I said, it really is an exciting time, guys. I know I maybe don't sound so excited because I'm just so tired these days. It's hard for me to muster up a lot of enthusiasm for anything. But this is a huge shift, and I've been getting for a long time that this is the start of more and more unions coming together, and I feel like it will be it's like a cascade, right? It builds. The more twins that can come together, the more the energy is assisting everybody. So, okay, I'm going to try and come back and do a tarot reading for you guys. That'll be in a separate video. And enjoy this full moon. Enjoy Beltane. Do something maybe to celebrate this event. I know I will. This was one of my favorite festivals that we have. And I love you guys, and I will speak to you soon.